Cool, sweet. So welcome, second, I think, coordination call of the new year, or first? I don't know, I'm losing track. But yeah, lots going on. I'll jump into it pretty quick. I know Tom's on a tight schedule, so why don't we let Tom go first and just give us any Eden updates that he's got.
You appreciate it. Happy New Year, everybody. So yeah, I think biggest new update is that we just started writing these weekly posts, I mean weekly. We'll have to make sure that we continue doing it weekly, but this is the first one, and we pushed them on the forum, just to make sure to keep everybody kind of like whoever is interested about all the things that we do, because I did realize that even though we've been working on Eden for like the last year and a half, and literally have been doing nothing else with my life, um, that doesn't always come across to the DAO very well. Sometimes you get to tinker with some of the bugs or whatever, and so we want to make sure that you see the whole picture. So yeah, we started sharing these updates there. Um, Often there's also community asks in there, so often we basically like new designs that we're working on or new ideas that we're working on. Like we would love your feedback in there. Like right now, there's a like a Figma in there with some requests for just like if you have ideas, if you have comments, like we would love them. By the way, Patrick, really appreciate your support. Like also we do a bunch of shout outs at the end of everybody's who's been helping, and yeah, again, really appreciate your support. Been able to catch a couple of yeah, bugs that just make the experience a lot less good, and much less than what it should be or could be. um in terms of the kind of like the BD side of Eden, so right now we've in the final stages of like Fala is probably going to be like a paying customer. We're still very much kind of, as you can see, like still very much in beta and giving people a taste of what Eden can do. Like I've worked really hard in the past month on setting up like a robust like sales machine almost, where I'm just like reaching out like crazy and actively like hunting people to pay and post jobs to Eden on DD. And obviously that money flows back to DD. Um, so yeah, we've got Polygon in the pipe, got Cowify in the pipe. There's all the ones in the pipe are on the list. I can't think of them all at the top of my head right now, but they're all in there. And yeah, we'll be updating that. I genuinely think like I haven't been this excited in a very, very long time, because I think everything is really nicely lining up. I think the product that we have is coming together. We've got a little ways to go, and we hope to have your support in getting to where this could be. But I genuinely like I haven't been this excited in a long time. Especially when I see like the early conversations that I have with potential clients. Like they love this idea of being able to tap into these online communities, because their alternative again is like LinkedIn, and it's just like a dumpster fire on LinkedIn. It's just like I don't know if you've ever tried posting a job on LinkedIn, but it creates a lot more busy work for everybody involved. And so this idea of being able to tap into high quality talent pools like Developer DAO is just very appealing. I think we just have to fine tune some of the things a little bit still, and so that's where we are right now, and that's again also why we're trying to be as open and bring you along for the ride. So if you have ideas, we're super takers. Kemp, am I missing anything? I can't hear you. Am I the only one?
Are there any? No, I mean that was good. Two things. Have you got any updates on new jobs listed? Second, we mentioned, and I know I DM'd you about this earlier, but no one else is in that conversation. We mentioned to Blue last week about doing a Eden proposal, so Eden can kind of like
Yes.
deal directly with the community.
Okay. 100%. So The new jobs, well, it was the new year, so I haven't really closed many new jobs over the new year. Hopefully next week there'll be a bunch more. But yeah, um, like we've been just very intensely working with Fala in terms of like what they want. Like so they'll have like a senior DevRel position coming up. Um, that's very exciting, Patrick. I think that might be right up your alley as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously anyone else. Um, but yeah, so that's the one. Like, hopefully that will pick up next week. Um, in terms of new jobs listed, and then in terms of the proposal, yeah. So we're gonna draft up something as quickly as possible to kind of show how we would use code rewards to incentivize usage of Eden, and how that will drive money back to the DAO. Um, so yeah, we'll be writing a proposal and hopefully finish. Like I'll hopefully have a draft finished by Sunday. Full disclosure, like I'm spending some time with my daughter who I don't get to see that often, so I'm trying to maximize that time. But hopefully by Sunday I'll have something drafted up and then something ready to be shown to the community next week.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, doesn't need to be perfect, I think. Optimizing for getting it out versus like getting it perfect and taking feedback and changing it, I think would be good. But that all sounds good to me. Has anyone got any questions for Tom before we move on, or suggestions for that matter?
Hate mail, please keep that private.
Keep what private?
Hate mail.
Hate mail. Mate, that's what governance forums are about. Cool. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I will happy to help you with that budget request if you need it. Just let me know. I sent you the template in.
Sounds good.
Cool. So
appreciate it.
I'll rattle through my bits. Almost finished the financials. If you want, you can see the work in progress somewhere down here. Sorry, scrolling, I know. Process December payroll, got community rewards lined up and vesting being lined up. If you want to click on this as well, you can see the breakdown of community rewards issued from labs last season, which is quite interesting in terms of the amount and where they went. I don't know if anyone noticed, but put a quick post on the forum that we got Nada to transfer ownership of the D4R contract to the DAO treasury. So the DAO now has control of that, which is like a really small thing, but I think important. We had a call yesterday here about the RPC idea with, I think, Patrick and Crypto here, which was good, and ads from Pocket came along. Billy, Manny, and myself also spoke to Nada about coming back towards the DAO to kind of help with that project from a providing any like guidance and advice on how he would approach it, but also from like a distribution standpoint and trying to make it successful, which is cool. I'm still working on this budget. I had basically prioritized getting people paid, doing the finances because it's going to lead into this. So, but I've got some pretty decent ideas here, so I'm hoping to get it sorted over the weekends. And then lastly, I've just been creating guidelines for things as I go to try and make it easier for people. If anyone is wondering about stuff that they don't know how to do, let me know and I will add it to the backlog. And that's me. Any questions or comments or asks? Three, two, one, go. Cool. Is anyone from Labs here that wants to give an update?
Yeah, I'm here. Basically, we're operating with the kind of ongoing performance we have near happening for the next 3 weeks. I got workshops happening. We have Hero following up on there, and then we have the leftover stuff from last year for Scroll for their hackathon turn workshop bounty. Manny is now taking the lead of organizer, so he's getting everything all set and organized. Everybody has their roles to play out, and so now it's just a matter of execution. We are operating as the proposal, even though proposal hasn't theoretically gone up and passed yet. That's kind of how we're functioning at the moment. But yeah, it's a busy month. You'll see a lot of my face on multiple workshops throughout the the month of January and early February for right now. I think we're gonna have a proposal set and ready to go. I think by the end of the week, hopefully, and that's pretty much the update. But workshop pretty much every Thursday, and then Hero comes in towards the end of the month with a Bitcoin stacks project, and then we have the Scrolls writers workshop, and that theoretically hackathon, write-a-thon kind of bounty for the week.
Love it, mate. Very concise. Academy? I don't know if Mark's here or Pebbles here.
Hey, I'm in a kind of noisy coffee shop, so hopefully I'm coming through okay. But I think the only two updates from last week worth mentioning are, well, maybe three. The budget proposals up there. I saw Camp, you left a note up there, so I've got a to-do to respond to that and discuss with the team. Thanks for the feedback there, though. We've got Build a Ball rolling along. Some next steps taken to get some feedback to Billy and Raza on some content in the works. The other bullet point is that some of the team is like back in motion, basically. So Marcos sat down yesterday and banged out some important parts of the next steps of V2. And I've made internally a proposal to change how we handle, accept, attract contributions in Academy. So I'm waiting on some feedback from members of that team. Essentially, I'm suggesting that we open up contribution more via Coordinate, so we can let more expertise in and take advantage of people with more time to give, because our team historically has only had so much to give, not as much as I would like to see, and that includes myself. So I think if we open things up a bit, introduce Coordinate for rewards, that we've got the opportunity to kick things into a higher gear there, and that conversation has just started internally. I guess I'm applying a little bit of pressure there. Yeah, I think that's the summary.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, I left my my feedback on the forum. It's nice that folks are coming back for New Year and getting some momentum going. So it'd be interesting to see what the team come back to with that, with some of those conversations. Do we have Gordo here, or actually, has anyone got any questions for Mark before we move on? Or asks all? Going once. Going twice. No. Is Gordo around? I can't see the call because I'm full screen on the Notion.
He's not in the audience, no.
Okay. Be interesting to see where he's got into with the budget. The conversation last week was like, if there's not a plan, then like maybe let's consider that's a sign that maybe agencies just doesn't make sense to continue. But we'll have to see what he comes back with. And we've already done Eden with Tom. Okay, cool. So just to kind of move on to what's going on in governance at the moment, nothing in Snapshot. Academy sub-DAO budget is up. Can't be elevated yet. Mark's kind of shared some thoughts. I've shared some thoughts there as well. General feeling being like how do we get this shipped? I encourage everyone to be using the forums. These calls, I think stuff just gets lost. Labs is up, which is great. Can't be elevated yet. I don't know if anyone here has got anything to share. Obviously, Manny's not here. I left some comments on there as well. Some like simple procedural stuff about like the template, and then also some suggestions about and questions about like community reward budgets and like more meaningful budgets for the contributors in code. So it'd be interesting to get folks' take on that as well. I don't know if anyone's got any comments on either of these two. Sorry, before we move on, I didn't mean to take. Diablo, you're coming through like a cartoon mouse. Just FYI, so you might want to disconnect and come back. That was so funny.
Let's try that again. I said Billy.
What's up?
All right, I know the crack with this and chipmunk stuff. Yeah, Kemp, what's the procedure for if you write a draft proposal? Is it not? Do we need to like notify you to put that into the proposals channel?
What proposals channel?
The notification center in Discord.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry, no. Mark asked me that.
notifications.
Mark asked me that same question. So Discourse updated. So I get notifications like once a week, pretty much, to ship a new version of Discourse. The last time that happened, it broke the plugin that we use that automates those posts. So I wasn't doing that; it was just automatically happening. But I can paste it in that channel, the announcements channel, if you would like me to do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. It kind of caught me off because I haven't had to do it for like forever, because since that plugin's been there, I just haven't been thinking about it. Okay, cool. The perks is now ready to be elevated, so I will do this later. There were some questions on there, but basically TLDR removed any focus on here to try and drive revenue directly from the perks and just get the best possible benefits for the community that can go on there. So for example, CoinDesk have just reached out to Manny about listing free tickets for Consensus next year. So we just want to be able to, rather than like try and capture like small amounts of value at that stage, just try and get the best possible things for the community in there, and then just have the intrinsic value of it being part of membership. And then a few people left comments about how do we filter what goes on there. So I've just suggested that we just bring them to these calls, and then like if no one objects, then we list it, right? Or if anyone objects, then we just try and deal with it in that moment. So as a trial and error, like, is anyone against us listing free tickets for Developer DAO members for Consensus next year? Sweet. That would have been a funny one to resist. And then the last one was LPC Gateway. So I said earlier, a couple of meetings happened yesterday. TLDR on the outcomes are, we didn't apply for the Pocket Network RFP because we saw the submissions coming in and they were probably looking at building something considerably more substantial than we would need to build for an MVP. So the idea now is to, it's written here, right, is to ship a high-level draft for the MVP, ideally by end of this week. Share it with Nader just to try and get his perspective and kind of bring him into the project, because we think he would be really useful for providing some advice, but importantly around distribution. And then we've got to figure out how to take it forward. So there is another opportunity for funding in Pocket. Patrick, are you still here?
I am.
Can you just explain briefly what a socket is, please?
Yeah. Socket is essentially just a proposal where there is a $3,000 cap in Pocket, 3,000 USD cap in the currency of Pocket per month. You can propose the socket, and you will have to revisit the proposal every 3 months, but you do, depending on the threshold of how much you're proposing for, you do need to do monthly reporting on how well you're maintaining that socket. But overall, it's basically a 1 quarter proposal that you maintain, and you can propose pretty much anything. It gets voted on by Pocket DAO, and then you maintain it and report. To be honest, it's pretty basic.
Thank you, man. It's pretty low threshold, right? As long as you're contributing something back to the ecosystem, then like broadly speaking, you got a decent chance of getting it.
There's somebody in there that that proposed like doing just the explainers on the like the image explainers and the infographics on the docs, and he proposed, I think he's like making like $500 equivalent a month or something like that. So he's helping me create more assets for the documentation. And so I mean, you can do very, very little, and I think he's only required to do like 4 or 5 infographics a month, and then and yeah, you could propose pretty much anything.
Cool. So yeah, so where we got to like is if we can like put together an idea for like what's the minimum viable thing that we can ship to kind of test it, and then what we were talking about yesterday was like a project like this really needs like someone leading it. So is there anyone in the DAO who maybe we can find to lead the project, and then maybe they get the socket funding reward to really make it happen, and then others that contribute to the project are like rewarded retrospectively from the project's revenue or profit. So it might be interesting to see if anyone's got any takes on that idea or any feedback on this in general, or suggestions or questions. Okay, and right now the people that have shown the most interest in working on it are yourself, Patrick, right, and then Crypto and OXFresh. Are there any folks in the... Oh, go on.
Marcus as well, Camp.
Ah, yes.
I believe. No?
Yeah, exactly. I forgot, mate. Thank you for the reminder. Is there anyone like Patrick? I don't know if just you on this call from that group, or if Crypto's here as well. But like, is there anyone that's like voiced an interest in like trying to drive that, or having the time to drive that, or would it maybe make sense to see if we can find someone who we think would be suitable and interested to drive that?
Give me till Friday to make a decision on whether I'd like to, drive it myself. But at the moment, I'm I don't want to overcommit when I have something else that might be coming on my plate pretty soon. So I don't want to commit and then have to change it, a week later. So I'll be able to update my position on wanting to take lead on Friday. But if anybody else wants to take lead, I'm more than happy to allow anybody else to take lead too.
What do you think about like putting an ask out for that?
I'm down with that. Yeah.
Okay. Given no one's spoken, doesn't sound like there is anyone at least on this call that wants to jump on it. But like the sockets, right? You set up to 3K, so it's not a life-changing amount of money by any stretch of the imagination, particularly for a capable software engineer. Or maybe even product person. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Ryan Gill, Mr. Drop Knowledge. But like if the project's successful, that feels like a nice stipend to try and help it get off the ground and be more funding that would hopefully come off the back of it. There's some quite interesting ideas with this about like some of the L1s and L2s, like the chains, they pay centralized providers provide their like public endpoints. Like, why wouldn't they pay a DAO to do that if the performance and latency of stuff is the same? So there's some quite interesting ideas that have been floated about. But in terms of like next steps, Patrick, I don't know if this is like defaulted onto you, or if maybe you want to book a time and I can see if I can help, or like trying to get like a super high level rough draft of what we want to build, and then maybe like share it with Nada by the end of this week. Is that like something that's like on your radar, or am I just kind of assumptively...
No, that's on my radar.
Yeah, okay, cool. I'll be around today and tomorrow. Well, not so much tomorrow, but I can be around over the weekend if there's any assistance with that needed.
Okay.
But I think it would be a good idea if, like, rather than let the perfect be the enemy of good, it's just put the idea down and then just throw it at Nada. He's already said he would take a look and then see what he comes back with and maybe get that decision loop moving.
Perfect.
Sweet. And then we optimistically said, what if we could ship this at Denver? It's not very far away, but we'll have to see when the details are down. Okay, cool. Anyone got any points or questions on that before we move forward? Cool. Sweet. So I've submitted a few items here. First one is why did Labs move to a new Notion? I said Manny's not here, I don't think. I don't know if anyone else can answer that from the Labs team.
Yeah, because there were some administrative issues that Manny was having, so he just moved it over to a new one to keep it simple.
Okay.
It was just like a stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if he's open to shifting it back? Because we kind of implemented the changes he wanted to try and like bring more accountability and collaboration and stuff into the teams across the DAO. So it's kind of a bit sad to see that he did that if all he needed to do was ask me to give him admin permissions.
Got it. Yeah, I think he was just trying to get something done and get everything coordinated in a certain amount of time, and that was the blocker. So he just made a new one. I don't see why not, other than redoing it all again. So I don't think that's a problem. It's just a matter of not having the blockers when we need to execute was the issue. So I would just talk to Manny about it. We have no issues switching notions or whatever. It's just a bookmark to me. So, yeah.
Cool.
Fine with me.
Yeah, exactly. I'll reach out to him. He never asked me for the permissions, right? I was 24 hours slow on opening something up, so I imagine that's what drove it for him, which makes sense. But if we can get him the permissions, hopefully it's good to just ship it back. So I'll drop him a message and see what he said. I have dropped him a message, he didn't reply, but I'll follow up. And then is Labs happy with this issuance plan for the 30 days of code text? 30 days of text code rewards.
I think I'm the only one that responded with K, so it's just by default it should be the rewards, and I think we both kind of came in a general agreement based on our math on that for the distribution. So I think it should be fine. I'll take the heat if it's not, but only 2 people responded to it, so by default.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Optimistic
Yeah.
decision making. And then this is coming together now. So given we're only halfway through, I'm actually going to open this up. I thought we would have less time. So this is a work in progress, but if you click this, you will see the DAO's finances for the last 2 quarters. I'm kind of keeping these up to date as they get finalized, right? So I'm not going to go through all of the accounts because it's going to take forever, but feel free to look at it and comment on it if you want to in your own time. I've just realized my screen share is not working because it is on the app. 1 second. Cool, that's better. Sweet. So I'll start that again. Yeah, so on here is work in progress report for the finances for Q3, Q4, and if you click this, you'll get this data that this is based on. So the info page just tells you what each page is. You'll see I'm keeping these up to date as they get like closed. And then if you go through, you'll be able to see them. I'm not going to go through those now because it's a lot. One comment I will make, which I think we probably might want to consider over the next couple of months of the DAO, is the current setup is extremely complicated to keep track of because we've got lots of different safes, different networks. So it ends up just taking ages to bring all of these sheets together and reconcile to make sure that they're up to date. But that is something that's on my mind that I'll maybe suggest alternatives for in the future if it makes sense to. Important things for right now is this summary at the end of period, which you can take a look at. Leave any comments on if you've got questions. Actions that are being executed today. So operator payments for December are going out. A test transaction of $8.41 is going out to the professional services company Leeward Management that perform the roles in the foundation: director, supervisor, registered office secretary. And then once that's confirmed that they've received it, the balance of payment will go out for the fees for the year. So I think this is something we want to look at, this setup this year anyway, because it's quite expensive. But it needs to be paid now. So those are going to be executed. They're already accounted for in governance. The other two big discussion points, by default we'd normally take this to the stewards, but the stewards haven't been particularly active. So one is we've got this long-standing debt to the guild operators, which is $32,000 from season 1, which is down to 48 because they've been getting $1,000 payments each month for the last 8 months. And then also is outstanding owings to the foundation for the setup. And there's a summary here of kind of like what this situation is. But TLDR, this was supposed to have already been paid, but some of those funds were being paid. We were using an escrow who was paying the full amount, and we'd already sent part of the balance. Unfortunately, they've walked off with the balance and disappeared, so we're now stuck with this. And I'm quite happy to answer any questions on that. I'm not trying to hide it. We spoke about it last week. So if anyone's got any questions, like let me know now or hit me up. But in terms of actions to consider, some simple ones about consolidating the treasury assets. So we've got some USDC and Matic sitting in Polygon Safe, so bring those over. And then there's like a few suggestions here about other things that we can do in terms of like setting a percentage of revenue into the treasury based setup for paying down the operator debt, and then potentially options for clearing the foundation debt. So that's a lot of information, and I'm not expecting everyone to have digested it there. I just wanted to kind of give people an overview of what it was. A couple of simple questions is the easiest way to do this might be to just roll it in to the foundation budget of the proposed action that I think is best, and then see if it gets accepted. So just on that as an idea, like, do folks think that's like a good way to go about this, or have any other suggestions, or would object to me like approaching it in that way? Ooh. Go away. I'll take the silence as no. Okay, and is there anyone here who wants to like take a more meaningful look at that with me in terms of like what's down, what the ideas are, or has any other ideas and would like to contribute to what's put together there?
Yeah, I'm down to hop in and dive into this with you.
Okay, cool. Mr. Stewart, maybe we can do it tomorrow on the Stewart.
Exactly. Yeah, that's perfect.
You're free at that time, yeah?
Yeah, it is. Hold on. I just got back from Mississippi. My timeline's all over the place. 7:30 my. Yeah, 7:30 my time. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. It's the stewards that I think really should look at those things based on how governance is set up. So I'll ping Manny and I'll ping JB and Eric as well. It's a bit awkward for Eric because he is one of those operators, but like but yeah, that's good. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate it. There's a couple of things in there as well that would be useful to have a different set of eyes on. So that'd be good. And if anyone else wants
Perfect.
to, like, please do voice it. I'm quite happy to broaden the group. Other than that, I think that's it for this update. Is there anything else any like folks would want to get on the agenda or discuss? Sort of open Q&A. See you later, Patrick.
SWE Foundation, I'm going to book a call with them. They're really interested in Academy. What kind of conversation should I have with them about Academy and the opportunity to get some courses in there?
Tell us a bit about them, Ryan.
Sorry, wait. Who said that?
I did. Tell us a little bit about them.
Oh, they're an L1. I think they're primarily Rust based. Large focus on gaming. I know Billy had an interest in them. All right, Billy, you can probably do a better job describing the intricacies of SWE.
Yeah, it's a
Don't
new
go into
chain. Yeah,
intricacy.
yeah. Gaming and commerce. Again, another layer one, trying to solve more solutions on there. It's just another opportunity for more developers to have different stacks with different places. As people are looking for jobs and upcoming chains come up, it's a good opportunity for devs to learn, move and all the cool intricacies of what SWE has to offer. It's a good opportunity overall.
Nice angle to explore.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
SUI.
I'm personally building up a business on SWE myself, building up a little infra SaaS. So I'm fairly interested in the technology. It's pretty neat in my opinion. If you guys want to learn more, I actually walked across a really good video by Lightspeed. That's Mert's little podcast he has going on, the Infinite Solana Schiller. But yeah, it was a really good episode though. So if you guys want to learn more.
Interesting angles.
Yeah, so what they're looking for is basically to come on, use Academy to get a few courses in front of developer audience and educate. So just want to know, we're going to have that conversation with them, or tell them we're not interested and never speak to us again.
I think the immediate answer is that our bandwidth is full of a couple of existing beta partners, but there's opportunities kind of next up to explore some new partnership.
Yeah, do you have a
So,
timeline for when I can aim?
Not yet, because we're inventing a lot of the process for onboarding content as we go along. So we can continue the conversation outside of this call.
Cool.
Cool. Has anyone else got any topics they want to bring up? Q&A? Anything at all? Going once. Going twice. Sold. Okay, cool. The one thing I would say is I really encourage people to share and participate on the forum. Budget proposals are going through. It's healthy and useful to share feedback, propose improvements. Encourage folks as well as attending these calls, which is great to kind of share perspectives and ideas and insight and feedback on those forum proposals. More and more we can lift up there and can have that discussion happening out there. I think it's healthy. But with that, I will close it out and say thank you for coming and shut off the recording and give everyone back 15 minutes of their day. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.